Try to remember your third birthday, your second, the first time you stood up and walked. You can't. Almost nobody can. Everything before about age 3 is just gone. A blank. We call it childhood amnesia, and it happens to every single person on earth. But here's the strange part. You were not asleep for those years. You were wide awake. You were learning faster than you ever will again. You felt everything at full volume. You laughed. You cried. You loved the people around you with your whole tiny body. And then your brain quietly deleted all of it. The question is not only why you forgot, it is whether those years were ever really yours to keep. Picture your earliest memory right now. Hold it. There is a real chance it never happened. Researchers surveyed thousands of people about their first memories. What they found was unsettling. A huge share of those memories are fiction. They are stitched together from old photos, from stories your family repeated so often that your brain filed them as your own. The psychologist Jean Piaget was sure he remembered a man trying to snatch him from his stroller as a baby. He could describe the street, the scratches on his nanny's face, the whole scene. Decades later, that nanny confessed. She had invented the entire story. The memory felt completely real, and not 1 second of it ever happened. So, the first scene you think you remember might just be a story wearing your eyes. Here is what makes this truly bizarre. Babies are not blank. A 1-year-old recognizes faces, learns new words every day, remembers exactly where a toy was hidden. Their memory clearly works. The information was going in. Somewhere in those years, you had a favorite blanket, a first taste of something sweet that lit up your whole brain, a face you reached for in the dark. Those moments shaped who you became. But try to find one of them now. There is nothing, not a faded copy, not a blurry echo, nothing. This is not like forgetting where you left your keys. It is a hole exactly where years of a life should be. So, where did all of it go? The first answer is almost poetic. The part of your brain that files memories away is called the hippocampus. And in your earliest years, it was not finished being built. Your infant brain was creating new neurons at a furious pace. That sounds like a good thing, but those new cells were constantly being wedged into existing circuits. And every time that happened, older memories became harder to hold on to. Growth was destroying its own footprints. Your brain was paving new roads straight through the old ones. But the new neurons are only half of the story. To save a memory as a memory, you need something most people never think about. You need a self, a sense of I. This happened to me, here, on this day. That ability is not installed at birth. It arrives slowly, and it arrives hand in hand with language. Here is where it gets eerie. Studies show that a child's first lasting memories line up almost perfectly with when they learn to talk about themselves. Before you had words, an experience had nowhere to be filed. There was not yet a fully formed you to file it under. The lights were on the whole time, but the version of you that turns moments into a lifelong story had not arrived yet. So put those two pieces together. Childhood amnesia stops being simple forgetting. Most of those early moments were never saved in a form you could pull back up. And the few that were, your rewiring brain quietly painted over. You did not lose those years the way you lose a phone number. You lost them because the mind that lived them was not the same kind of mind reading these words. A different machine. Built to learn everything and save almost none of it. But here's the part nobody talks about. If you cannot remember the first 3 years of your life, how do you know that person was ever really you? Hold that question, because it only gets stranger. Before you mourn those years, here's a twist inside the twist. You did not lose all of it. You lost the scenes. What you kept was everything they taught you. You do not remember the 1,000 hours of struggling to make sounds. But you walked away fluent in a language. You cannot recall a single step of learning to walk, yet your body has never forgotten how. The fear, the trust, the sense of whether the world is safe, all of it was soaked up in those blank years, and it is still running underneath you right now. The memories were erased, the lessons stayed. You are walking proof of years you will never be able to see. And maybe that is the whole point. Think about the impossible job a baby is handed. In just a few years, with no manual, it has to learn to see, to move its own limbs, to decode sound, to crack the code of an entire language from scratch. That is the heaviest learning any human ever does. To pull it off, the infant brain spends almost all of its power absorbing patterns, and almost none recording single moments. The forgetting is not a glitch. It may be the price of learning that fast. The blank is just what a mind looks like while it is being built at full speed. Which brings us back to that question. There was a person who lived the first years of your life, who looked up at your parents as giants, who felt everything for the very first time with an intensity you will never feel again. And you have no memory of being them. None. Not one thread of experience connects you to that child. You believe the baby in the old photos is you, but only because the people around you swear that it is. Your life has an opening, and you will never get to watch it. The first chapter of your entire existence exists in a theater you can never enter, about a person you can never meet, who somehow became you. That is the hidden why, behind the years you can't remember. This whole channel is built on that exact feeling, the ordinary thing you never thought to question, and the quietly staggering truth underneath it. Stick around. There is a new one waiting.